All right, so Social Security doesn't work. I'm gonna draw the picture for him again. All right. So Social Security is a sinking ship. It does not work. It used to, all right, if you were in charge of Social Security, how would it work? You got people paying in. Let's say Nash is paying money in. Where would that money go?
It's like a bank or something.
Okay.
Keep it safe.
And maybe into a little Nash account, right? So you would pay money in, and then eventually you would take money out. That's right, that's how it should work. That's not how it works. It used to go into a Social Security trust fund. And the money would go into there, and then the money would come out of there. This is the room that the congressman found. Big pile of money. And so Congress took it. So that Social Security trust fund is zero. This is how government budget operates. That's the faucet, okay? What will never happen in this bathtub?
It'll never fill up.
It will never fill up because the drain is bigger than the spigot. So money gets into the little government budget deal and it instantly goes out the tube. So right now, when you guys pay, every time y'all get a paycheck, Social Security's took out. Except if you're a Texas teacher, we got out of Social Security a long time ago. I did put money in before, and whenever I worked jobs. Anyway, so grandma, or great grandma, whatever, was promised she'd have money to eat off of. Yes, ma'am? Sure. So she was promised, you're gonna have money to eat off of when you get old. Does she need to eat?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so she needs that money. Her money is gone. Congress took it. But she needs to eat. She was promised she gets to eat, she needs to eat. Your money is going down the tube to pay grandma to eat. It will not be there when it's time for you to retire. Matter of fact, 20 years from now, I'm going to predict Social Security doesn't exist. Because it will not be able to exist when it's less than 1 to 1. If that makes sense. All right? Anytime someone proposes changing Social Security, congressmen run to the microphone and tell old people, don't vote for this person because they're trying to steal your money. And you steal something that's not there. Congress already stole it. So I think I have a way to fix Social Security. I'm not an expert. This is just common sense. We need to pay grandma, and your money's not going to be there. So we need to find a way to pay grandma, and for you still to have some sort of, for you to have your money. So what I would propose is the first, and you have to mess with the numbers, the first year of my program, 98% of your Social Security money goes to the government. And 2% goes to you. The next year, 96% goes to the government, and 4% goes to you. And then we watch the numbers and see what we need to do. But eventually we get to where 0 goes to the government, 100% goes to you. Then we got to adjust who's getting what. We say people that are, say, 60 and older are going to get 80% of what they were promised. People 55 and older are getting 70%. 50 and older are getting 50%. And we just gradually wean people off of it and gradually wean ourselves off of it to where you now have 100% of your Social Security money. Does the government care about your retirement? No, they don't. Who cares about your retirement?
You.
You do. I don't care about your retirement. I mean, I kind of do. I don't care anything about your retirement like you do. And you don't care about my retirement as much as you care about yours, right?
So is there no way you can like privatize your retirement? Like you can just.
Oh yeah, you
pay it?
can. But they're still taking your Social Security. They're still taking 12% of your check
That stinks.
every month. Let me show you that part. Here's another lie. When you get a paycheck, Social Security is automatically taken out. I want to say the total is 12.5 4, I might be wrong on the point part, I know it's 12. 6.2 comes out of your check. Plating like that. Comes out of your check.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Where's the other 6.2 come from? Your employer throws in 6.2%. Now that's really a lie. If you owned a business, it came time to pay people, would you be looking around in your pocket and trying to write checks out of your account to get? No, that's just the cost of having this employee. So you're not paying the 6.2%. Let's say I'm going to hire Turner, and when I need to figure out, can I afford how much I'm paying him? Can I afford his insurance? Can I afford his sick days? All the benefits. I don't care how much this costs and this costs and this costs and this. I care about the total. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me if it's Social Security, pay, insurance. I don't care about this. I care about this. This is how much it costs me to have you as an employee. So if I don't pay this Social Security, that really means that's going to be, that amount is going to be somewhere in here. You're going to get better benefits, you're going to have higher pay. Because I don't care that it's going to Social Security, I just care that it costs me this much to have you. So really, you're paying the full 12%. Does that compute? Okay. This 12.4% is coming out of your check every month, and you're going to see nothing. Now, do you think we need to fix this sinking ship? We do. So if somebody starts talking about Social Security privatization, listen to them. Because it's going to be important. It's not important really to me, because I'll be dead, and the little amount that I have in there, I'm probably going to see something maybe. Because I'm right on the edge of when I die and when it's going to blow up. Y'all will never see it. That's a promise for me to you. So what do you, I said Social Security, what's in your head? Titanic sinking. Okay, just keep that. I think it's already broken in half. Oh, that the Titanic broke in half? Because that part filled up with water and it broke. And then that's what this part. That's horrible. There's all kinds of bad ways to die. That would be a horrible way to die. Freezing cold water, and you can't get away from it. That's to me, it's one of the scariest things is being in the ocean, the middle of the ocean at night, just in a sinking ship. That would scare the crap out of me. There is a book, and I know this because little Christy thinks that Colt needed help as a freshman in college. And so in all of my free time during football season, where I get up at 3:30 and then I go to bed, get home about 8, and go to bed about 8:45 or so, and she thought I should help him. And so he was reading this book and having to do little reports on it. It was about this South Pole expedition. Really interesting story. True story about turn of the century. They were exploring the South Pole and their ship got surrounded by ice and it was slowly crushing it, where it destroyed the ship. And they didn't have Gore-Tex. It was 1900s clothes. So it's like 0 degrees or negative degrees with a misty rain, and so they're cold all the time. And I just can't believe people survive that kind of stuff. Anyway. All right, so now hopefully I've turned you against Social Security.
Hey, what is Gore-Tex?
That's like the fancy coats are like the material that's water. It's waterproof. Mm-hmm. But they make the thick, big coats out of them, and then it's just waterproof cold gear stuff. They didn't have that then. I guess they had wool. That's the only kind of stuff they had. American government didn't do much for people before the 1930s. Before the 1930s, the government really did nothing. The government was little. What happened in the 30s? Depression. And so the government stepped up and started doing more for people, getting involved in people's lives, so government got bigger. And in turn, before the 30s, there's no dependency on the government. After the 30s, some Americans have become dependent on the government. I would like to find us somewhere in the middle. where the government helps out a little bit, but we're not dependent and looking to the government to answer the problems. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's just me. There are, Social Security is a contributory program. Non-contributory programs are things like Medicaid and like the welfare system. I mean, we pay taxes in, but you don't have to pay in to get. You can get without paying in. Medicaid is medical stuff that helps people who can't afford it. Medicare, we do pay for Medicare. That's taken out of your taxes. That's a separate tax. And when you get a certain age, it helps you pay for medical bills. I think it's like 70? Is it 70? Somewhere, it's not 65. It's somewhere close to 70 for Medicaid. My mom broke her hip. And she was never in good shape, but she broke her hip when she was like in her late 70s. And she had to be in intensive care for like 2 weeks. I went to visit and I asked my dad, who's paying for this? He goes, well, Medicare is paying for most of it. I said, oh, good, I'm paying for it, good. But there's Medicare, you ever seen the SNAP tag you go into a food store, it says SNAP accepted. That's food stamps. It's really the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. All those little things. Government provides stuff for people. There's things like entitlements. All these things. Healthcare. After the healthcare law was passed, healthcare became like an entitlement. Little Titan did something the other day. I forgot exactly what it was, and I had to sit down and have a huge talk. And I didn't smack him. It's like he got an attitude and said, "Oh yeah, well this is what." Kind of told me how it was going to be, and I had to sit him down and say, "That's not how it's going to be." He thought he was entitled to something. If you're entitled to something, what does that mean?
Means like you get it without.
You're going to get it. It's automatic.
Yeah.
It's automatic. If the government passes entitled, if the government passes a program or passes a law and says, we're going to do this, that's an entitlement. If the government was to pass a deal saying, we are going to pay for college and sign it into law, the College Paying For Act, right? That would mean it's owed to you, you can't be taken away, and that means money. Every entitlement that our government provides means big money. I think Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid make up about 45% of our budget. Like almost half of our budget is that. In our house, we have a house payment. She used to work a lot better. So we got, golly, Chalk never did this. Never had a little spinning wheel, had to wait for it to work. Chalk just worked. If it got low, you knew you had to get a new piece of chalk. It took like 2 seconds to do that. Now I've been waiting here for like a minute. Leave. What in the world? I need to, there we go. Today we got a house payment. We have 2 car payments. We have insurance. What else we got? Oh, I'm embarrassed. We have some cards to pay on. I'm not blaming little Christy. She's hot. So if she looks at me and says, I would like, the answer is yes. You get whatever you want. You get to go. You're in charge. She's in charge of all the money stuff. And I've changed how I word it now. Now I'm saying, yes, Christy, if we can afford it, you can do it. You know what's going on. You know how much you give. If we can afford it, you can do that. Whatever you want to do. I always thought if you can afford it, to try to guilt her into really thinking about it.
So when you do Christmas presents, does she put your name on them too, or is it just hers?
We really don't. What we what?
When y'all do, like my grandmother, when she gives me my present, she doesn't ever put my grandpa's name because he doesn't ever, like, he just doesn't know.
Yeah, we
about
just
him,
put,
so-
yeah, we put both of ours. I mean, the kids get stuff. That's the thing about being a parent, you don't ever get a present anyway. You're gonna get nothing, they get.
I always get my presents, parents. That's kind of weird, you know, buy the presents.
Well, Colt has gotten to where he gets us stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the way I am now. Like all those years,
This
I
year
try and get my
it's
parents some
21.
good stuff.
Yeah, Colt will do that. Pacer does it because once again, right now in his situation in life, I would be buying my own presents, so no, don't worry about it. I'd rather not.
That's what my parents do. My mom uses this money to buy all of our brothers and my parents a gift.
Oh,
Yeah, that's,
what a
That's
deal.
just like a
Yeah,
little
that-
envelope.
that's
that's
how my
not
parents are.
alright.
$200.
My mom goes Armadale.
The first year we was married, I had never told her no.
Yeah, me, my brother and sister and
And
mom
it-
all go together.
we got married in
and
April.
something, and then
We're living in
my dad, me, my
Hempstead.
brother and sister all go
And
to
that
something,
January,
my mom something.
Maybe it's February. It's
Like
February.
last year we got my dad, so-
She decided she wanted a potbelly
Just
pig.
something like that.
I'm the only kid that.
And as soon as she said that, in my mind I said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
And what did she want to get?
She wanted a potbelly pig. We were gonna keep it in the house. And it was gonna, they're so smart. She'd just be a great, and she would talk about it, and I was like, inside I was like, we can't do that. And I was like, oh, okay. And we were actually driving to go get it. It was 2 hours away. We got 1 hour away, and I pulled over. I just sat there. She goes, what's wrong? I said, Christy, I really feel like we don't need to get a pig. I never told her no to anything, so I was really kind of worried because there she is.
Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe she was like messing with you.
No.
Are you serious?
Oh yes. So you see this, and then there's this. So I really have no leg to stand on to start saying no to
Yeah,
you.
they're
But I said, I really can't get a pig. Christy, well, they potty train, that's fine. 2 years from now, we'll have a 50-pound pig in our lap, sitting on the couch. This is a pig. It's not a cute little, but no, they get big. They get big. And she finally said, well, okay. I was like, oh, I could say no. But we are taking care of this. And the next year, we won't have this. The problem is, we've signed that we are going to pay for this. So if we sign that, yes, we're going to pay for this, we have to pay for it. If Congress puts it into law and signs, we're going to provide this, they have to provide it. So the more entitlements we have, the more money it costs our government. And does our government have a job?
So if they say they're gonna pay healthcare, why would we have to pay for it? Or provide healthcare?
Well, I don't understand all of it.
And that's my only argument against healthcare for everyone and why some people think it's such a great thing is that they still have to pay for it and some people, don't have it because they can't afford it. So you
Yes.
can't force them to have it and have to pay for it with the money that they don't have.
Healthcare is different than anything else because at some point, all of us have to have it. All right? College, we don't have to have. Cars, you don't have to have. Housing, you don't have to have. All of us at some point are going to have healthcare, and it's expensive. And you're talking about pain and suffering. And in a country like America, no one should go. Everybody should have the best health care available. We should. The problem with it is expensive.
Well, and so most of the time, if you compare, because I don't have health insurance, and it's cheaper for me to go to a
Yes.
doctor's appointment and pay out of pocket than
Yes,
it
it
is
is.
to have an insurance and then you
Yes,
bill
it
all
is.
this and continue. So I guess some people don't really realize. I just think that they think it's a necessity that you absolutely have to have. So everybody's on board for providing it for everyone, but
Right.
they don't look into it and see how much it's going to cost.
I know for us personally, I've usually not had insurance, but then when Christy said we had to have insurance, we had to get insurance. It does cost you more.
So is health insurance mandatory? Because like car insurance,
When they
say
started out,
mandatory.
when this healthcare law first went into place, there was a penalty, and it was on your taxes. And if you did not have health insurance, you had to pay a penalty.
Yeah, like with
That-
Obamacare, all of that stuff.
When Trump came into office, that part went away. You do not have to buy health care anymore. It did do, the two big things that I've noticed, it did. Before this healthcare law, this was 2010, I think, when it went into effect. It used to be 21 years old, and then you couldn't be on, like Cole could not be on our insurance anymore. That changed to 25. So now y'all could be, if your parents have insurance, you could be on there until 25. Also, before 2010, companies could say you have a pre-existing condition. We cannot insure you. Now, pre-existing conditions, you have to be accepted. They can't say, no, you've had cancer, or no, you've got diabetes, or no, you've got this. We're not.
Like that's real.
Now, I was against this deal for this on its own. And I can talk about this now because I have a kid who's got diabetes and has to have medicine every month. Insurance has gone sky high since this new law came into place. Because of these two things, this means the insurance companies have to pay out a lot more. So we have to pay in a lot more. And the policies have changed and they cover less. You pay more for less. What you're saying is exactly right. If you go to a doctor and don't have insurance, it's going to cost you about half price. And you can pay them $50 a month, $25 a month. I'm not a smart man, you know. But I would talk to smart people and say, we're looking at the butt of a horse. We're trying to find ways to pay for expensive health care when I would rather us look at the face and say, let's find ways to make the healthcare costs lower. Does that kind of make sense? To me, the best way to do it would be to quit paying insurance and start having medical savings accounts and use the money you would pay insurance for, or if you got insurance through a company, let's put this money into like you've seen flex cards. That's what it is. You go and you pay cash to see the doctor. You pay cash for the surgery, and you use that money instead of paying a company to increase the cost of it. That kind of makes some sense. That's one way I'd rather see them go.
I think most people, they pay into health insurance because they're scared of something really big happening.
Yes.
And so you're just kind of preemptively paying in just in case something really, really crazy happens.
That's right.
Like, my family, it was cheap for us because my brother had knee surgery, and the next year I tore it, and then we already met our deductible, so like my
Yeah, so
surgery
at that
didn't cost
point,
anything.
they're like taking full advantage of their health care.
Well, and that's how it is like with your car insurance too, because like there's two different kinds. You can get the car insurance that pays for the other person's vehicle and like, all of their stuff, or you can get the one that pays for your new vehicle and theirs and all
Liability,
Yeah.
comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we
because
had-
Texas law requires you to have, it's like a 10,
Liability.
20, like 45 something policy where it's like $10,000 of like your personal insurance and then like some amount for like other people's liability insurance and their property insurance. So if you get into an accident that's your fault, your insurance can cover their property damage and their health expenses.
Yeah, that's what happened with mine, is that they paid for theirs, and then with mine, it was cheaper for me to just go to the doctor, because they're like, oh, you need to ride an ambulance? And I was like, no,
Right.
please don't, that's way too expensive, don't need it. So we went to like a walk-in, like a Baylor hospital to get like a CT or whatever, and it was like way cheaper than to even like mess with it.
Also, I don't think, there's less competition in insurance than anything else. They do it by state. And this is what I'm talking about, but I really don't know exactly what I'm talking about. But if there was more competition in insurance, it would lower the prices. Like if you could go across state lines and really compete, and companies actually have to compete with each other. But anyhow, as a dad of a kid that's going to be making about 20 grand a year and got diabetes, he got some really good insurance when he went to school. He's on his school insurance. It cost him, I think, $1,000 a semester. Instead of paying $800 to $1,000 a month for his medicine. He pays like $10. It's like some copay deal. I don't know how it works, but he's fixing to be off of that. But we're probably going to let him be on there as long as he can, or as long as he needs to. If he needs to buy food and stuff and pay for rent. If he can pay for his insurance or get insurance, that's fine. But it's just a mess. There's got to be a better way than the way we do it. There's got to be a better way than the way we do it. And I don't want the government paying for it, because then they're in charge of what we get. And they're going to be in charge of, you need that surgery or not, or we're not providing this for you because this is conspiracy theory guy, but you're 82, so we're not going to pay for this procedure because you're fixing to die anyway. I want to be in charge of that. I want me and my doctor to make the decisions, not the insurance company or the government making those decisions. The good thing is, the good part of it is, if the government provides the health care, is people are getting health care. But I don't know if that's worth it or not.
Well, and then with insurance and stuff, like you were saying, if you have a pre-existing condition or something, they can determine your rates or if they're gonna provide you insurance or not. Like with guys between the age, it's like 16 to 20 or something, your insurance rates are higher because you're more likely to be involved in an accident or receive like tickets and stuff, because dudes like to drive fast.
Insurance companies base their rates based on how much you cost them, and by you it means your age group, your race, your sex, your car, the color of your car. Every county's different. It's just how much you cost us, we're going to charge you this much. Now, Colt can't get life insurance. He'll never be able to get life insurance. But we did, as soon as he got it, he was still 17, so we bought him like little kids life insurance, and we bought the most you could. So he has a little life insurance plan because through that. I don't know how she worked it out. But yeah, he can't get life insurance because odds are he would die quicker than someone else. That's what the odds say, if you don't take care of yourself. But anyway. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. Some people call our tax system a kind of welfare system, and it kind of is. When we come back in January, first week I'm going to tick you off. We're going to go over our tax system. I'm going to show you how stupid our tax system is. It doesn't have to be done the way we do it, that's what makes me mad. But let's say your income is $52,000. We have write-offs. Our government allows people to have deductions. So if you buy your house, you can subtract the amount of interest you pay on your house from your income. So say you're paying $8,000 this year in interest on your house, it lowers your taxable income down to $44,000. If you have kids, if you have other write-offs, other deductions, if you buy solar panels for your house, there's a big tax write-off for that. It's an incentive to get you to do certain things. So let's say you have $20,000 in write-offs. That lowers your taxable income down to $24,000. They're not giving you money, but those write-offs lower the amount you're paying taxes on, so you pay less in taxes. That's kind of like a welfare system where because of some things you do, you get financial benefit from it. Now, having a kid, it's not worth it to have a kid to have the tax write-off. It costs way more than what the tax write-off is. So there you go. It helps some, but it doesn't help all. But some people look at the way, all the loopholes and the write-offs we have. I really wish we didn't have all that. I wish we had a flat tax where everybody paid 15%. If you're a billionaire, you pay 15%. If you're a hundredaire, you pay 15%. And we're done. And then nobody's treated different. Everybody's. If you make $100 a year, now there would be a couple write-offs for being alive. You wouldn't pay taxes. But if everybody paid 15%, nobody's treated different. You know, and we know how much. We'll get into that. We'll get all that stuff. Does that kind of make sense? The deductions and the write-offs a little. Okay. Cars for kids. You know, the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is this car is worth $600. So they don't give you $600, they give you a slip, and you get that on it. You lowers your taxable income by $600. So you do get financial benefit. You're not getting $600, but it gets you a little financial benefit. You probably couldn't sell a car. Cars for kids, that's funny. Okay. Pretty good.
I still don't understand how some insurance companies, like car insurance, like does like discounts with your grades, which I think is weird. Like, I mean, I guess it's a benefit, but they're just like, all right, so if your kid's like smart at school, like we'll give you a discount.
I'm pretty sure what because they're going to be really good at research, and they are really good at numbers, and their research has probably shown kids that get good grades cost them less than kids because you're taking care of business, you're more responsible, you're thinking about some things other than, you know, that's got to be something to it.
It's not a lot though. It's
Right,
like
it's
20%,
not.
but
It's not.
So makes a difference. So.
But I'm sure that has to be that's always what's going on. It's how much is this costing? How much is this person costing us?
What I think is frustrating is if you get like in a car wreck
Oh,
with
yeah.
someone who doesn't have insurance, then you don't get your car fixed, but
Right.
your insurance pays for their car to get fixed.
Yes.
And so you're just.
If you have liability,
Mhm.
if you have comprehensive, pays for yours.
Yeah. But they still get out of it with
Yeah, they do.
a new car and nothing out of their pocket,
I would hope there'd be some sort of
like penalty for it.
law or something, since it is a law
You're
you have to
driving
have
without
it.
insurance.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably get a ticket for it, and they have to pay the ticket.
Yeah, but the
but-
ticket can't be more than like
Get a
$100.
ticket, that's illegal.
Clayton's always on.
Always on.
Always on. Alright. The foreign policy is Thursday. So we'll look at foreign policy. And then, what do y'all have left to put out? Just a final?
Yeah.
I don't
She
know
has
if
not
she's,
said anything about
I
it.
don't think she's giving us a final, I think she's counting the paper as the final.
Or the
Okay.
review.
That's a terrible
There's still
idea.
a lot of reviews.
That's-
Give me the final.
I will tell y'all this, she graded mine and she like went through my essay, like there were places like I forgot the word the and she put it on there that I missed the word the.
Well,
Like
so
she
here's the
went
thing,
through
she-
and like graded the grammar, graded like, she said I didn't cite enough, like there was a lot of things that could be plagiarized, and so that's what she took the majority of the points out
Oh,
for. I got an
She
88
said
because
that
I only cited once, like
How many
in
pages
text
was yours?
citation.
she didn't
It was
grade mine.
5.
She is not graded mine.
Yeah.
She
Mine was only
said
3
that,
pages. Mine was like a full 3 pages. And then like what the original date was due that Friday. She put like 4 pages would be nice.
I'll tell y'all what his.
And I was like, I've already submitted it. I'm not gonna unsubmit it. It's whatever.
He has
Yeah.
She said
so-
she's gonna do an extra
Because all-
quiz
yeah.
too, because you have to have
It is
100
class.
points from all your quizzes. Well, if I
There's already
just
a
walking
100
more.
points though.
not for me, if I make 100
Some
on
of
both
the
of
music
these,
class.
then I'll have like a
And you
96
sing it
or
for
a
2 hours
93.
a week
And then
on
if she does the
Zoom
extra
for
quiz, then I'll have
community
103.
choir.
Which is not bad,
That's-
but still.
He's got a degree. He actually has a degree now. If he just passes this semester, then he can get a job.
See, Clayton, all I know is I can still make a 0 on this paper and pass.
I missed
And
my
then she
quizzes
changes,
and
unless she changes
assignments.
the weight of it.
But then it goes on your college.
If I get, so long as I get a
Yeah.
60 or
I still
above,
passed.
we're good.
But it's also unless she changes the weight of it. Because
She's not
she-
gonna
But
change
if she
the
makes
weight.
it the final, then she's gonna have to. Because when I put 100 in for the paper, it did nothing to write it. So I don't know.
I don't like writing this application essay. It's making me talk good about myself.
So we'll put stickers on the figures. You have to get it.
My essay topic is tell us your story. What unique opportunities or challenges have you experienced throughout your high
So
school
like,
career that have
when I
shaped who you are
applied
today?
to
I'm just gonna write about
West
what I
Texas,
hate my knee.
they
I broke my
sent me
knee.
an email saying all of all I needed to send
It
them,
turned me into
but then
a
like a
cripple.
week later they accepted me without any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
did
get
that
it
for me
all.
for one of them.
So I think now with all the COVID stuff, they just
Well, that's
accept
what-
you anyways.
For TCU, on the Apply Texas, it said that essay was optional, but when you log into your portal and stuff, it says you have to have an essay to complete your application. I'm not writing another essay, so it's not doing it.
On what?
So no, it's fine.
TCU, which I'm not going, but I just wanted to be accepted, because like,
Well, that's kind of silly.
That's
Like,
that's
you're
so
not
dumb.
going
Like, why
to
would you
college.
mess with an application to a college that you wouldn't even go to?
because I don't have to pay the application fee and won't pay for anything.
Like, yeah,
Have you tried to plan
time is money, girl.
the application?
Like, that's why, cause I was working on text application, and then I got to the point where I was like, I'm not even going, well, what's the point? So I just stopped.
That's-
So I had
My
to work
first
to one
application-
college and one college.
First application I did was Tarleton, because I knew it was automatically gonna get accepted into that. It's just nice.
You know, I was looking at their data and they said they only have a 55% acceptance rate. I don't think that's true.
I don't think it is either, because they say
Well,
Texas
everyone that
State
we
has
know
a
that goes.
lower acceptance rate than
pretty
Tech, but
That's true.
No.
yeah, it does.
There's no
Yeah,
way.
there's way.
Well, I mean,
Texas
like,
State?
Macy
Yeah.
got into Tarleton.
Yeah.
She's homeschooled though.
Macy couldn't even get that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, damn.
Macy couldn't
I
even
need to
pass
take
her
the
chemistry
SAT.
class. Yeah, the acceptance rate for Texas State is 45.5. And the,
That might simply be because
Well, Texas State is actually.
and
Yeah,
the
a lot
Texas
of
Tech
applicants.
acceptance rate is 70.7%. So,
Texas
yeah.
Tech doesn't care anymore.
Let's see what the acceptance rate for that staff is.
Texas Tech, you could probably
the
apply the
acceptance
day
rate,
before.
the acceptance rate for
Uh,
Houston Baptist is 100%.
Yeah,
You don't even have to
Janet,
apply.
no, Janet got denied from Houston Baptist too, and and it's 100% acceptance rate.
Janet?
Yeah,
How?
I don't know, but she got into
99.9.
Texas State and she got into Tech too, so I don't know how she didn't get into
I
that
didn't
one.
even apply to Houston Baptist, and I got a letter
Bruh.
saying that based upon
The
my
next
academic
SAT
standards,
date
I
after the 5th is
qualify for
March
automatic
13th.
admission.
Yeah, I got some of those too.
Did you get the
The
At
acceptance
Tarleton?
rate for, hey, the
Did
acceptance
you
rate for
get
Dallas
the,
Baptist is 88.1.
for?
Yeah.
They're,
See,
we
like,
accept all
Tarleton,
Christians,
whenever I
please
applied-
come to our school.
What's WT's acceptance rate?
Probably high.
Anyways.
On
So
Saturday.
like Tarleton, me and Bella, since we're at the top, is it 20% of the
20,
class?
top 25%.
Yeah, top
So it's
25%,
in between
we're already,
Texas State
we
and
already have a
Texas.
$2,000 scholarship.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Like, not even, that's
You
not
don't
even
need to
dealing
use
with
these
our
shots.
ACC and
I
SAT.
wish,
Yeah,
Texas
that's
So
for
we
me.
can get that one out of the
Suck.
2,000.
Did
And
you
then
do the
that's-
general application
No,
already for scholarships?
I know,
You have to write a 500 word
It's
essay
taken me
about
Really?
yourself.
6
No,
months to
I
start
don't know
on
if
my
I can take
application.
presidential merit scholarship because I got a 20.
I finally finished the application part, and I was like,
And
writing
to
essay,
be
it's gonna take at least
the
another 6
top
months.
20%, you have to have
I might have to wait till next
24
year
or
to go to
higher.
college.
It's hard to get because the lower your class
But
size
it is
I got like a
it's like
2 or
in the top
24.
10%,
Coach can
they're
overnight
gonna
that
have
out.
a 22.
Oh yeah, I
It's like
definitely
it's
got
something.
You
a
definitely have like a 20
Go.
higher
Yeah.
for
What did you get on your ACC?
And then we have all these projects.
Yeah, I gave up on that.
I have like
See, mine
3
is
hours.
like-
It's
The reason mine was so low is because of the,
Are we taking the same
reading,
place?
I must have passed out before my SAT. I did good on my paper. My
It's like the 13th I'm taking.
my highest topic was,
Hey.
because I think process
Where
was
should we live across
like,
I think I made a 6 out of 8 on my essay for my SAT.
It's easier to live like
Where are you from? Boston.
cough twice and then see.
Have y'all seen that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video where the guy?
Oh yeah, where he's
Yeah, where he's like,
the
hey,
person's
and
he
the guy in
got
the back
caught.
is
He's like
and
getting
he's like,
caught
oh, I
for
don't
cheating.
even know what that
Yeah.
means. So he's like, B, oh, I don't know. And he's like, I don't know what it
I
means, but
like-
I'm gonna pick it.
I like my favorite Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video is the guy that won it, and he already knew the question. Like as soon as it was asked, he knew what the answer was, and he was like, "Man, I don't know. I want to phone a friend." And they're like, "Okay, yeah, you have one left. Who are you gonna phone?" He's like, "I'm gonna call my dad." And they're like, "Okay." He calls his dad. He's like, "Hey, Dad." He's like, "Hey, I'm watching the TV. Do you know that?" And he's like, "How you doing, son?" And he goes, "Well, I already know the answer to the question. I just wanted to tell you that your son's a millionaire now. And then he like hung up and answered the question right. And they won the show.
That's actually cool. That's the coolest thing ever.
Like, and everyone was just going nuts. Like,
He lost it. Oh my god, we were at church Sunday, and I was like, Macy, I was like, let's start a mosh pit. She was like, what's that?
what, with like the 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, there's like 5 of us there.
How many kids actually still show up?
I don't know.
I could have went last Sunday, but I literally just
Yes.
forgot. I don't think Sunday after.
The bell rang.
Oh, Nikki rang the bell for us. Wait, why are the bells ringing?
That's
No. It's there, okay.
Yeah,